Good afternoon and welcome to the next short video in the Ahargana series. This week there was a lot of excitement about a super blue moon. That is two things rolled into one, a supermoon and a blue moon. Now what is a supermoon? Supermoon is when the moon is closer to the earth than at other times, so it looks bigger and brighter. And you would have seen a lot of photographs of that. I'm not going to talk about that in this short video. I'm going to talk about the blue moon. So what is a blue moon? There are multiple definitions, but the most common definition is that if in a calendar month, for example August, there are two full moons, then the second one is called a blue moon. Because it doesn't happen very often, it happens rarely. But a more accurate definition is that in a calendar year, if there are 13 full moons, then one of them is declared to be a supermoon. So in both these definitions, you will see that you expect one full moon in a calendar month or 12 full moons in a calendar year, and you get one extra. And when you get an extra full moon, that is declared to be a blue moon. Now, does that blue moon concept have any meaning in the Hindu calendar? You would be surprised to know that it does, and that's what I'm going to show you in this tutorial. So now if you look at the Hindu calendar, you take the months. There are two types of months, chandramasa and sauramasa. Chandramasa by definition cannot have two purnimas. Impossible. But what about sauramasa? So I'm going to show you that sauramasa indeed sometimes can have two purnimas occurring within one sauramasa. So let me show you an example right now. So we are in 2024, next year, October 15th, a random starting point, but not entirely random. We are in Kanya Masa, and here is the Kanya Masa segment, Kanya Rashi, and the sun is here. Very soon it's going to reach this marker here, and it's going to have Sankranti happening. So let me make the Sankranti happen. So there you go. Now Tula Sankranti happened because the sun has entered the Tula segment, the Tula Rashi. But if you now look at the moon, you can see that this is very close to Purnima. So if I run the animation a little bit now, indeed you see that this is one Purnima, this is Ashvina Purnima. One Purnima has happened in Tula Masa. Now let me run the animation, and you will see that a second Purnima happens in the same Tula Masa. So the moon is getting closer and closer to the Purnima position, and there it is. A second Purnima, the Kartika Purnima, has happened. And only after this, but you can see the sun is almost at the end of Tula. I mean, if you look at the naked eye, it looks like it is actually Sankramana has happened, but no, it takes a couple of more hours. So let me run the animation a little bit, a couple of more hours, and now Vrishchika Sankranti happened, and the sun has entered Vrishchika Masa, Vrishchika Rashi, and hence it is Vrishchika Masa. So you see in Tula Masa, two Purnimas happened, Ashvina Purnima and Kartika Purnima. So if I take that Western approach, I would say that Kartika Purnima is actually a blue moon. This is the direct equivalent of a blue moon. But we don't do that in the Hindu calendar. We don't have anything called a blue moon, not even in Sanskrit. We completely ignore this. But if you think about this, you have seen a similar thing in one of the earlier episodes. And that was when I was talking about adhika masa. When I was talking about adhika masa, if you remember the definition of adhika masa, it is when two amavasyas happen with no intervening Sankranti. Now the same thing can be put in another way. I can also say that an adhika masa happens when there are two Sankrantis with two amavasyas embedded between them. That is nothing but when you have a sauramasa with two amavasyas. You see the similarity? Now in the Western tradition, you have a masa with two purnimas, full moons. And the second one you say is a blue moon. In our tradition, you have a sauramasa with two amavasyas, and the second amavasya is called adhika amavasya. Blue moon, adhika amavasya. That is the equivalence I am trying to establish here. So I will show you the earlier adhika masa episode once again, so that you can visually see what is the equivalence that I am trying to establish. So here is an old segment from an earlier episode. I am not running the whole episode all over again. I am going to show you now this position where Karkata Sankranti has happened in 2023, July 17th. So Karkata Masa is beginning. Karkata Masa has just started, and I will show you that two amavasyas happen in Karkata Masa. The first amavasya is here. This is Ashada Amavasya. So Ashada Masa ends and Adhika Shravana Masa starts. And as you move forward, a second Amavasya will happen now there, and this is called an Adhika Amavasya, Adhika Shravana Amavasya. And after that, Simha Sankranti happened. So within Karkata Masa, two Amavasyas happened, and this Masa, the chandramasa, is declared to be an Adhika Masa, and the second Amavasya is a Adhika Amavasya. So while the Western tradition talks about two Purnimas happening in a calendar month, our tradition talks about two Amavasyas happening in a sauramasa. And that results in an Adhika Masa and a Adhika Amavasya. Instead of calling something a blue moon, we have Adhika Amavasya. With that, I will close the tutorial here. I hope you found this rather strange equivalence as interesting as I found it. Thank you very much for watching.